Hello everyone, this is Ron. Welcome to another King of Fighters All-Star video. I hope you guys are doing really well. And in this video, we are going to tackle the question that whether you should pull or skip the Orochi 98 Ultimate Leona. She's the latest character in the banner, and of course, she has certain mechanisms. We are going to talk about it. But I have kind of thought about several perspectives or several point of views to look at this character and this banner. And I'm going to explain those point of views and try to propose some suggestions in front of you so you can take your decision, because at the end of the day, the rubies are yours, the account is yours, it is totally your decision, and all I can do is to suggest and clarify certain things. Now, first of all, I must also say that there are different type of people having different type of opinions about different type of characters. Some people are die-hard fan of a certain character. Some people are not die-hard fan of a certain character. So they will have different type of opinions. So we must consider all those opinions. Alright, so first of all, the topics that I prepared for you, usually I talk about, the appearance of the character, the damage abilities, or how useful the character is the character is a support, damage, this sort of criteria or this sort of metrics. But whenever it is Orochi Leona, whenever it is some character like Orochi Leona or Orochi Yori, for these sort of characters, I need to add another matrix. That is going to be rarity. If you think about how rare this character is, not only in kofas or King of Fighters All-Star, but all across all the devices or all the platforms where you can play King of Fighters game. How rare she is. You can play her only in couple of selected games, first of all. Secondly, she is not even easy to obtain. You have to do a certain method to get her. And that was all the way in the arcade. In the 97, we used to use a separate special technique with these controllers and those C and D key. Together we have to press and we had to move the controller in a certain direction. There was totally a separate instruction for that. I mean, that was insane. In that way, we used to unlock her. And still she is not available in many mainstream releases like King of Fighters 14, 15 or many big releases. You cannot find her. So in terms of rarity, that is a quality that Orochi Leona is having that is totally unique to her. And characters like Orochi Yori, because these two characters are totally unavailable. But they are totally deep rooted in the Orochi saga. And they have totally deep relationship with Genis as well. Now the next topic is appearance. Now many people has different... He screams a lot. Many people has different priorities for a character. Some people prioritizes the character design a lot, the way she looks like, and some people kind of prioritize some other things. Maybe the damage mechanism, maybe the dots, or any other properties. So if you are someone who is kind of prioritizing the looks, then you might actually feel that she has a kind of a striking similarity with King of Fighters 97 version of Face Leona that you can see already in my screen. They have certain similarity for sure, but if you look closely to the character, you will find that they didn't not only just reworked her, but added certain effects. Her hair is different. There is a smoke effect coming out from her mouth and nose, straight away suggesting the effect of hell. We can see the Orochi snake in the back. So there are certain touches, there are certain fine tuning going on this character. Look at her hair, look at her jacket, you will understand what I'm talking about. Of course, the mechanism damage has been entirely changed. We'll talk about that soon. But in terms of design, many people are saying that this character is kind of a old version, same version. I would like to say that Netmarble doesn't really have too much right to change the character designs. I mean, there are certain intellectual rights of SNK. Netmarble cannot go beyond that. So the original design of Orochi Leona, there is a actual design in the SNK. And that design each and every developer has to maintain if they are doing some external development in any other game. So they have to follow this thing. They have to follow. If they don't follow, they'll get a case. SNK will file a case simply, and they will have to pay huge amount of money. I mean, you guys have no idea what is the fine of breaking this sort of copyright laws. So in terms of design, I would say she is just fine. But if you are someone who is looking for probably some horns above her head, or maybe in a bikini shape or something, probably you should skip her. Otherwise, I think she is a good design. Now let's talk about another aspect, that is going to be color type and cipher. Three things that we need to worry about. First of all, purple element fighters attacks. She's going to be a great leader for all purple element fighters, and she's going to lead the purple team, and she is going to be a very useful character to climb in the plugin plant. Without any doubt, we can say that. She's going to be a balanced type unit. That means she has a very balanced state of attack, defense, and HP. That means unlike the attack type characters, she has more survivability. Technically, she is more survivability, but she has, at the same time, she has a very unique mechanism that I'm going to show you soon, that is going to make her a very ferocious damage dealer at the same time. And cemetery type works in Age Challenge and in Guild Boss Challenge. So cemetery fighters are going to do well when the boss has certain effect that's related to cemetery. So that's the utility you are getting from her. Now let's talk about the mechanism. She has a very complex mechanism, guys. Let's talk about the skills. And previously I kind of predicted that she is going to have 100% strike skill. Looks like this time my prediction is totally wrong. Active 1 skill is a blast skill. A very powerful skill. A blast skill applies fear. And this is having something to do with the blood shackle. And each critical hit reduces the remaining cooldown effect. So critical hit and blood shackle. I will explain this when we talk about the core. Active 2 skill, a strike skill, hyper armor, decrease enemies defense, usual PvP usual ultimate core, and PvP exclusive, remove targets, hyper armor, super armor, critical hit, shield. Wow, she's removing all the defense mechanism. Active skill 3, another blast skill. Increase active skill damage coefficient by 200% up to 600%. If blood shackle is inactive, okay, critical rate of active 3 skill by 50%. Once again, this blood shackle things is coming again and again, and critical rate and critical damage is coming again and again. You will see this character is the champion of critical hit and critical rate and critical damage. I will show you. Insane mechanism, guys. Finisher, default finisher. Once again, blood shackle. Increases finisher skill damage by 2000%, also momentum by 30%. The highest in the game right now, but this is only for 1.5 seconds. The duration is kind of, I don't even know. And the cooldown has a 21 second. How this thing is even going to work, that we are going to find out when we are going to play. The final finisher, increase critical damage by 25% for 10 seconds. This is the first time a character is having critical damage buff in the finisher. Very unique. Of course, normal Leona cannot equip this card or any other these sort of cards. Striker skill, deals darkness damage equal to certain percent, bleed damage, and she have both of the dots in the core also. I'm going to show you. This is the first character having 2 dots in the core. Now let's talk about the core passives. Bloody Fate, bound like a shackle. Upon landing a critical hit, applies blood shackle to self and one target. So these blood shackle that so far we talked about, this we can see this blood shackle in each and every skills. This blood shackle is actually her passive core. When you do a critical hit, this blood shackle is going to be applied to herself and also one target. Only one target, remember that. That means she is going to be dedicatedly a boss killer. And blood shackle reduces the target's critical hit resist by 5%, up to 5%. I don't know how this is going to work. Probably up to 5%. But what she is going to do, she is going to reduce the critical hit resist from the boss. That means boss or enemy will not be able to stop her critical damage and critical rate that she is going to apply. Also, on critical hit, deals bleeding and darkness damage equal to 1000% of attack. Both of these dot in the core, guys. Insane. Now, of course, if you need to have a lot of damage, you need to have a lot of critical rate and critical damage. And I'm going to show you that she is having those things. Look at this. In the passive core, Bloody Frenzy, critical hit, Bloody Frenzy, active skill damage, okay. Also HP recovery. So, a lot of things is going on here. Let's read. She's going to get the Bloody Frenzy upon landing a critical hit against a target affected by Bloody Shackles. So, she's going to apply Bloody Shackles from the core. And whenever the enemy has the Bloody Shackles, she'll get this Bloody Frenzy upon landing a critical hit to that particular target that already have this Bloody Shackle. So, condition is she has to have a lot of critical rate and critical damage. And that's why Netmarble have added this critical damage and critical rate in the Imprint Stones. Very, very useful for her. Or when hit by critical hit while Blood Shackle is status. Okay. Immediately gain 1 stack of Bloody Frenzy upon applying Blood Shackle. So what is the effect of this Bloody Frenzy? Increase attack and movement SPD by 15% and momentum by 10% for 5 seconds. So double momentum. Oh my goodness. Double momentum. We saw momentum in the finisher. Now we are seeing momentum here. This is 10% for 5 seconds. Or is it the same thing? Increase active skill damage. Active skill damage by 200%. So all of her active skill damage skill are getting buffed. Not any particular skill. That means skill 1, 2, 3. All of them are going to get this buff. Reduces remaining cooldown of active skill by 10%. Recovers HP by 13%. 1%. Gains super armor. So lot of things is going on by getting this Bloody Frenzy. And guess what? That is dependent on this Blood Shackle. And guess what? Blood Shackle she will be getting each and every time. So most of the time she is going to get all these effects. All these effects straight away from the core. She doesn't have to depend on anyone. And immune to stun, fear, bleed and darkness. Darkness immunity is very important because against Giz Howard, very important. And this bleed damage. Sometimes you will lose a lot of HP in the plugin plant due to this bleed damage. And this is going to help a lot. Decrease damage received, HP is 30% higher. Gain damage immunity, this is kind of usual stuff. Now let me show you the other part of the core. So we kind of read these sort of things. We read the striker skill. Ultimate break. Reduces, okay, 80%. Remaining cooldown of your UE skill by 80%. So she's having this ultimate UE. That means ultimate UE core skill 80% reduction. That means she is going to be able to activate her ultimate skill way too sooner than any other character. Very, very unique mechanism, guys. Removes your own Blood Shackle and applies Blood Shackle to random target. Okay? Removing her own Blood Shackle and applying to a random target. That can be anyone. So if there only one boss is there, it is going to be easy. But if there is a mob, that's going to be a problem. If the Blood Shackle target accumulates additional Blood Shackle stacks, they will also receive Blood Sacrifice for 20 seconds. Okay. So this overall is getting the effect. What is this Blood Sacrifice thing is going to do? For 20 seconds? Decrease the target's overpower by 60% with the fighter's momentum. Same code that we saw in Oswald. Decrease the target's damage taken by 35%. Decrease target's critical hit resist by 6%. Remember that we're getting more percentages from the other core. Oh my god. Decrease the target's critical hit resist by 50. Oh my god, 50%! 50% critical damage resist rate? Seriously, bro? Insane. First of all, this core is making her an insane support. Insane support. But guess what? She's not only an insane support, she's a huge damage dealer. Look at this. This one is going to do what? Active skill cooldown by 70%. Active skill damage 200%. All the skills are going to get the buff. Attack movement SPD 15%. Momentum 10%. And getting in strike skill and blast skill. Both of the skill are going to get the buff by 33, 44 and 55% respectively. Insane. all of her skills are getting buffed, so you don't even have to worry that what type of plugin you are actually getting. You don't have to worry, just farm the plugin, get the plugin and use. Oh my god. Now notice one thing. Increase attack by 800%. This percentage is significantly lower than Kyo. Kyo has 900% attack. But guess what? This character's damage mechanism is going to perform mainly through the critical resist reduction of the enemy. She herself is going to support herself. When she is going to use this thing, she is going to do the support for, of course, the team. But from her skills and from her other cores, from these cores, so from this core, she is already reducing the target's critical hit resist by 5%. So even if you are using her damage dealer by this core, she's already supporting herself in a massive way. My goodness. And if you accompany strikers like Oswald, oh my god, I cannot even imagine how far she can take the damage numbers. She's a totally unique mechanism, guys. In terms of mechanism, she's totally unique. Of course, HP recovery, very, very useful for the plugin plant. Basic attack damage 50%, 1500%. Increase active skill 350%. So although she's having lower attack than 900, I think this entire mechanism centered around the critical hit, critical rate, critical damage and critical hit resist rate. I think she is going to pull up a very high damage and her mechanism is going to be totally different. Definitely I'm excited to test her out, guys. Now another thing that I would like to say, that if you are someone who is a returning player and who is kind of starting the game, you have actually two options. You can pull in this banner, you can get very strong characters. This is strong damage dealer, the new character, but we are having returning character. Elizabeth is a support. She is going to support both of these characters because this guy is also having this damage through finisher and she has also some properties. But ideal supports is going to be actually from other characters. Probably this character, both of these characters are going to be ideal support for this Leona because both of them are having decreased damage receive. Leona, AEX Leona is having decreased damage receive. She's having decreased defense, and this version of Shizuru is having both strike skill and blast skill buff. So she's going to buff this character in a major way and probably she's going to be the best support. So as a new player, you might decide pulling in this banner to get this character, or you might decide to skip this banner and wait for the collaboration. That is totally up to you because as I said that if you love these characters, if you prioritize these characters, you can pull. If you think about the damage mechanism, if you think about the new mechanism that they are adding, then you can definitely pull. But if you are not satisfied with something else, then you can definitely skip for these things. So this is the thing that you need to know about the collab. And one important thing that I would like to point out, that this is totally unique to this banner in my opinion. Let me take you to the... Stop screaming! Stop screaming! A memory crafting event. Where is the UE Codex event? They are adding a very important type of imprint stone. For the first time, we're having increased ultimate fighters critical damage from this stone and increased critical rate from this stone. Down the line, this stone is going to be both of these stones are going to be very, very important because critical damage, critical rate, these sort of stones you don't want to miss. Trust me guys, you don't want to miss if you are someone who is willing to increase the damage numbers. So far in this game, critical rate and critical damage buff are the king of doing damage in most cases, if not all the cases. But the best thing about this is both of these stones are kind of on the first 2 slot. That means all you need to have is 2-star character to ensure these 2 stones entirely for free, and you can use these 2 stones to any future damage dealers and increase their damage numbers. However, the tier 3 stone is not really that attractive at all. If you even pull up this character, I think I would suggest to change this stone and get something else, probably the banner stone from Terry banner that has a critical damage, or Isla banner has a critical damage. Some of that stone actually has a critical damage in the 3rd slot. That stone would be ideal. So in my overall review, or according to my personal decision, I think I'm going to pull in this banner specifically for 2 reasons: rarity of the character and the huge imprint stone mechanism and the huge new mechanism that they added, that is doing damage through critical hit resist rate reduction. So I'm pretty much excited to try out these two features. But guess what? In the future characters, probably these type of features are also going to be available. But another reason that I'm going to pull this character, because I am willing to form a team with Leona, OROCHI Leona, and in future probably OROCHI Yuri also will join, and finally Genis will also join, and probably OROCHI will also join. So I would like to form a team with these type of characters, guys. That's my wish, and from that regard I'm going to pull in this banner. So I'll be doing live pulls, and I hope to see you there. And let me know something in the comment that what you think about this banner. Are you going to pull or not? So I'll see you soon in the live stream. Till then, stay awesome and peace out, my friends.